Feeling lost in the maze of CPS? Desperate to get your child back? You're not alone. Countless parents face the heart-wrenching reality of family separation. The legal system can be overwhelming, but there's hope.
Now, here's the key. Okay, that's how you win a 6-month hearing.
Thank you.
If you do all of those things, you're going to blow your social worker's mind, you're going to blow your attorney's mind, and you're going to blow away the judge.
With attorney Vincent W. Davis, a dedicated legal expert with 39 years of experience, committed to helping families like yours. Join his weekly live Q&A on Zoom, where you can ask your burning questions about CPS cases. Get the knowledge and strategies you need to fight for your child's return.
Alrighty, good evening everyone. This is a question and answer session for school, SKOOL, and this is the CPS school.
Are you ready to take control of your family's future? Join our school community for free to access weekly live Q&A sessions, or participate as a one-time guest. Don't let fear hold you back. Take the first step towards reuniting your family. Join us now.
Good morning and welcome. It is now January 14th. It's I also don't understand why I keep coming off. Again, my problem seems to reappear again. I thought I had fixed it, but I think it is a virus. I got to redo the scan again, so. But I want to give you a warm welcome. This is a live podcast, and you're here to fight CPS with me, your host, Bob Pace, and to hang on to your children. It's a friendly place, and it's a place where you come and be with family here. There are people from around the world that have come here and joined us. Not only do I podcast in the United States, I also podcast worldwide. I have over 20 countries, from Bangladesh to India to 2 countries in the Middle East to 6 countries in Africa, 7 countries in Europe, across the pond to North America to Canada, 3 provinces, and also all 50 states of the United States. Also, I have Washington, D.C., so it's well representative. Then go further south, I have Mexico, then Grenada in South America, and then across the Pacific, I have New Zealand and 2 states in Australia, the Gold Coast, Melbourne area, the state of Victoria. So that's a wide range worldwide of CPS. So what I mean by CPS, I mean the child protection systems. Every county, every state will have a system. And there's different names. So to call something common, I say child protection systems. Like in Prescott, Arizona's Department of Children's Services. In California, in the Orange County, is the Child Protection Services. In LA County's Department of Children and Family Services. But in Richmond, Kentucky, it's called the Cabinet. So I'll just say CPS, meaning Child Protection Systems. Whether it's worldwide or here, I welcome you all. It's very important that you be careful with this entity because they do destroy families. They destroyed my family. Oh, God, it was terrible. I've been fighting for 15 years. I got 2 of my 3 children back, but had to lose our daughter. That was a tragic thing. All because a social worker retaliated. All because a social worker retaliated. I don't know why my picture keeps going off the screen. My mouse is nowhere near where the cursor is. Now, this is an interactive podcast. So that means I like to have some help from you guys. In this room, you can do emojis. I already got one, and thank you for the hearts. And that is Philistine Gibson. Thank you, Philistine. I know many of you are listeners. You're taking notes and so forth. You can also give me emojis like the heart, thumbs up, smiley faces. Also, you can send me stars. If you want to follow me, just check the follow button. And if you want to be notified when I'm on, check the notification. Now, some of you have been coming on my regulars almost at the bewitching time when the show's over. So I hope you guys, Margaret wanted to say something. And then there was another person, Felisa, who is cruel on YouTube, wanted something, had a question. I hope to see you guys. Letitia, you're still waiting to have Mr. Davis talk to you. I need to know if you come back on. That's the girl from California who had her child die in CPS's custody. So I've been doing this podcast every day, 7 days a week, twice a day. I come on at 10 o'clock in the morning, Pacific Standard Time. I'm on the West Coast. I live in Surf City of California, 3 blocks from the beach, and about, say 50 minutes from those fires. They're still about an hour away from me, Pacific Palisades and stuff. But, I do notice the winds and stuff. Today, it seems like the winds have died down. So hopefully they got a handle on the fires and they can get them put out. A lot of praying is going on because those people have lost everything. And I know we're going to have ramifications from CPS because they're going to be after the parents because they don't have a house and they think their kids, this is the sad part is that they always want to go after the unfortunate, down and out people that are starving, don't have much money, that don't have good sense or knowledge about CPS and how they need to get an attorney. Now, I mentioned to some of the people last night to come in and talk on my podcast. There, are 4 ways of talking on my podcast. One is just being in this room. And it's really nice to have you here. You're more than welcome. And all I ask you is to be respectful in here. And this has got to be about CPS. Now, the first message I'll put up here is how to go about texting a message to me. You can text here on the YouTube application. All you do is type out what you want to talk about. Now, I do ask a couple things included with your text message. I like to see your name and the city or the county your case is in, and of course your state. And now for countries, all I need to see is your province, your state, and your country. If you have a city, please list it, or a county, and then your name and so forth. Now, I also ask you to tell something about your case. Try to be complete about it so that I can read about it and help you out with every situation you have. Now, if you want to be a guest on my podcast, all you have to do is write an email to my show producer. Her name is Grace at vincentwdavis.com. That's the email. Grace at vincentwdavis.com. Got to put in the W there. I put it up on the screen. So it's vincentwdavis.com. And when you write me, just pick a date, like a Friday show a Saturday show, evening or morning. That's all you have to worry about, and you can get a date pretty well fixed. So that's Grace at VincentWDavis.com. Now, a fourth way that you can interact with this podcast is to call into my phone number right now. My phone is active. That's 626-698-0990. And you'll be able to talk on the phone. I'll put you on speaker, and you'll be able to address everyone. And it's so those are the four ways: being in this room, texting me a message, being a guest on my podcast, or calling in. And one thing nice is rewarding about being a guest on my podcast or the call in and speak is you'll get a free session with Mr. Davis. That's a private consultation for 15 minutes for free. It's a special bargain I got with him. He gives a lot of free time. He has his podcast. You have to join his schools. They're free. And then register for his podcast. So it's real easy, the four ways to do that. I'll leave my phone number up. Now, usually by this time I have people that come in, and I don't know where they are at the moment, but I know they'll be coming. A little bit more definition of CPS is that it's a government entity, a branch of social services. Okay. Now I'm open to any topics, and I know it's hard and difficult because what CPS is supposed to do is supposed to protect our children from neglect or abuse. Neglect or abuse, that's what's so important. And what will happen is that someone will call in, either a professional person or a lay person. The lay people are pretty much not really very good at calling what's going on. Like one parent here, Tessa, has a husband who is trying to assist her because she was having a seizure. She was having a seizure, and the neighbor thought he was beating up on her, which wasn't the case at all. Now, for a report to be reported, it must meet 5 criteria. And, oh, good grief, my computer is not working. The first criteria, when you call into the hotline, and if you have a reasonable suspicion that abuse or neglect has occurred. Now, what is abuse? Abuse could be hitting a child, shaking the child's head, using an object to spank a kid with, so forth like that. Now, neglect is not feeding the child and not getting the child to school and those kinds of things. It's very important that your children are with you because they're going to try to take the dongas to take your child. Don't listen to them. best you not talk to them. You need to get an attorney. If you haven't done so already, you need to get one. And you need to go over with that attorney what he needs to do. So if you're a layperson or a professional and you have reasonable suspicion that abuse and neglect is occurred, you should always call the hotline. Now, professionals have to. It's part of their job. All the necessary information is not available when you call the hotline. CPS cannot register the report and make other recommendations. So it's very important if you have the information. If you don't, they necessarily can't read. Now, there's 5 criteria that the hotline assesses. First, they have to identify and the location. The CPS must be able to identify, locate the child, his or her family to begin investigation. The information you can provide is simply as the name, city, town, or county, and only an address, with or without a street number, only a phone number, or some other information that could lead to the identity and location of the child. Age of the child. It's very important. State law only applies to people under the age of 18. If you suspect the victim is 18 or older, call the local police. There is exceptions. Children ages 18 through 21 who are handicapped and in a residential facility are protected by state law. Now, if you suspect that victim is 18 years or older, call the local police. Now, there's exceptions. Children's ages 18 to 21 who are handicapped and are in a residential facility are protected by state law. If there is a reasonable suspicion of abuse or neglect by the facility staff, a report can be taken. Jurisdiction. Where did the abuse occur and where is the alleged victim now? For instance, example, New York State has jurisdiction if the alleged abuse or neglect took place in New York State, or a child allegedly abused outside of the state is now in New York and is in need of protection. So that's how you determine jurisdiction. Excuse me a second. Now, the person legally responsible. Is the perpetrator someone who is legally responsible according to state law? Is the person who mandated the reporter suspects has committed an act of child abuse or neglect? State law only applies to parents or persons legally responsible for the child. So if you're a guardian, the law would apply. Now, they include legal guardian, foster care and daycare provider, employee, and volunteer residential facility, other adults responsible for the child's care. Now, these include legal guardians, foster care and daycare provider, employee or volunteer residential facility. Other adults responsible for the child's care at the relevant time include any adult who continually at regular intervals is found in the same household as the child. If the predator subject of the report is not a person who is legally responsible for the child, and the circumstances may constitute a crime or a threat to health and safety of the child, hotline staff will contact appropriate law enforcement and may ask you to do the same. Now, other adults responsible for the child's care at the relative time, including any adult who continually or regular intervals is found in the same household as the child. If the perpetrator is not a person who is legally responsible for the child, and the circumstances may constitute a crime or a threat to health or safety of the child, hotline staff will contact the appropriate law agency and may ask you to do the same. So you may have to contact the local police. Now, if a child has physical abuse, means they sustain a serious physical injury, or is a child in immediate danger of harm or a serious physical injury, and do the person legally provide inflict the injury? Now, the physical abuse. Has the child sustained a serious physical injury, or is the child in imminent danger of harm and sustaining a physical injury? And did the person legally responsible inflict the injury, allow the injury to be inflicted, create an imminent danger of the injury, allow the imminent danger of the injury to be created? Has the person had sexual contact with a child, allowed sexual contact to occur, use a child in a sexual performance, allowed a child to engage in prostitution? That's sexual abuse. Further, neglect. The child has been harmed or impaired, or in child immediate danger of harm or impairment, and has the person legally responsible failed to provide a minimum degree of care under circumstances. Now, neglect. Has the child been harmed or impaired, or is the child at immediate danger of harm and impairment? And has the person legally responsible failed to provide a minimum degree of care under the circumstances in question? Did the failure cause harm or impairment to the child, or create imminent danger of harm or impairment? So that's the criteria they determine. And what I strongly recommend is that, you look that up on the internet. It's available on the internet. And you find out, let me get my mouse to work again. Okay. And you find out, okay, hold on a second. All right. Looks like my camera is a little bit out of focus. Now, there you are, Felicia Cruel. You asked a very important question yesterday, and you came in late last night, and I'm sorry I couldn't answer it, but I hope you can. And hi, Amanda. Good morning. Amanda says, Sir, do children's ages 4 and 5 need to be present for jurisdictional hearing? They have special needs and are not they're not verbal. Does the court provide notice to understand? First of all, I think all children should be in court, but at those ages, that's too hard for children to understand, especially with special needs. Now, my case in Orange County, my children will talk through Zoom to the judge, not to us parents. We couldn't see our children, which I think is wrong because our children were 9, 12, and 15. So that's something your attorney needs to tell you, Amanda. And I forgot, what place are you from, Amanda? And good morning back to you again, Felicia. Cruel is Felicia. And she had a real important topic last night that I never got a chance to talk about. And what it was, she had a court hearing, if I remember correctly. And the court didn't tell me my babies would not be present for these hearings. I was requesting to appear in person. Well, first of all, babies are not present in the court. They should be in care. And hopefully they're in your family's care and not necessarily CPS's care or foster care. So there was a question Cruel was asking, if I can remember now. I wish I could see my comments from. Oh, there's a Pellick. You said that your court-appointed attorney failed you. Well, you know what you can do to your court-appointed attorney? You can file negligence against him. You can threaten him that. Also, you can go to the bar exam and say that your court-appointed attorney was not performing. That's what you need to do, Felicia. You had an appeal going, and I guess the attorney refused to submit something, and that's wrong. That attorney needs to work for you. You need to kick the attorney in the butt. You know, I'm sorry you have to use a court-appointed attorney. They usually have a caseload of 30 more clients. They don't have time to help you out. Also, they will not fight for your kids getting back. Because that's what you were talking about last night, Cruel. My court-appointed attorney denied my oral argument without consulting me. Well, you can charge her with negligence. You can file a complaint at the state bar. You need to put heat underneath that court-appointed attorney. You need to kick him in the butt. He needs to put anything you want in there. He should know that. Problem is, they're not juvenile family dependency lawyers. They're criminal attorneys with very little experience, and they're just starting out. So that's why you need to get a real attorney. You need to get a real attorney. But that was wrong. That was wrong, Cruel, and your court-appointed attorney let you down. Yeah, you definitely have to email her because she did was wrong. Yeah, and you're in LA County, which is really bad there. So really, really, really bad. Okay, Amanda. I'm glad you emailed her. I'm glad you did, but you got to put fire beneath her seat. She didn't perform for you like she was supposed to. Amanda, I'm in LA County, a non-detained position, so your kids are still with you. Well, that is good. I'm glad to hear that. Now, Cruel, who is Felicia, it's unfortunate because she is seemingly a well-rounded attorney. Well, yeah, it is, but you got to depend on her if you can't get the real attorney. Court-appointed attorneys are not trained in family juvenile dependency law. They're not going to be fighters because their caseload is overwhelming. It's overwhelming. Now, Cruel says, let's see what Cruel says right now. She's been practicing this area law since the 80s or earlier. Well, if she's court appointed, she still may not work for you. You need to put fire beneath her, and she should put your arguments. She's got to really fight for your case. If they're hired by CPS, they work for CPS. They're certainly not going to work for you. That's why you need to tell her that you're not performing like I asked you to, and I got to file you for negligence, and I got to file a report to the attorney board of California that you're corrupt. Now we have a new person coming in the room. Well, Brandy, you've been in here before. I recognize the name, Brandy. Welcome. It is very pleasurable and nice to see you too. Brandy, if you could tell me where you're from. I can't remember everybody, but I tried to. Cruel Felicia is from LA County. Now, Cruel says, do I have to notify her about a complaint? You don't have to notify her about a complaint. The thing is, you should have talked to her when she was non-performing. Say, if you don't perform me, I am going to file a complaint against you. But you don't have to notify her. You can make a complaint to the state bar, and she can lose her license. She can lose her license. Wyoming. Brandy's from Wyoming. Well, welcome again, Brandy. Felicia says, Ventura County. Okay, thank you, Felicia. Thank you very, very much. Now, Felicia is Cruel. And oh boy, you're in Fire Central LA. Well, that's not good. I hope you're safe, Felicia. I hope you're safe. The info just in the other day. Okay, all right, okay. I emailed her the other day. Good. I'm glad you emailed your court-appointed attorney. All you out there, my rule number one is you get an attorney and not a court-appointed attorney. If you get a court-appointed attorney, they won't do a good job for you. They're not trained in juvenile family dependency law. They have not fought against CPS. they're just going to go through with the motions and try to get through. It's really sad when a family's trying to destroy the other family. And now Felicia says, who's cruel, I emailed her the other day. Good. I'm glad you did. You got to stay on top of your court-appointed attorneys. You got to stay on top of them. Now, I'll put my number up. Please call me at my work number so you can talk to me. I'm at 626-698-0990. That's my office number. I use Vonage. I use Vonage as the application on my phone. Okay. There's some more comments have come in. Okay, Brandy, you've not heard from Vince yet. Well, Brandy, that's your real name, right? Let me go see when I last. Grace had lost her father, so she may be a little behind schedule-wise, Brandy. So let me go ahead and see. Do you know what day you email me? What day, or what's your prefix of your number? What's your prefix of your number so I could... It helps me find it, Brandy. $307. Good. All right. Okay, so 307. There you go. You sent it to me January 6th. What's today? The 13th. Hope you're all having a nice day. I was told to text me from Brandy Kane, Wyoming. Email. Yeah, it was January 6th. So let me see when I sent it to Grace. Let me check it for Grace here. Here you go. I sent it to Grace at 9:53 to Grace at 9:53, and that was on January 10th. So I was 4 days late on that, Brandy. So it went on January 10th. Today is the 14th. You should be hearing something this week, okay? You should be hearing something this week. And you get your time to talk to Mr. Davis. Well, you sent the information on January 6th. So it is a week because today is the 14th. So it's been over a week. And it took me 4 days to forward to Grace. Now, Grace has been burying her father who died last couple days ago. She had a really tragic event. So hopefully she's on top of it. And you can also write Grace at Vincent W. Davis to ask when your appointment's going to be. Just mention that Bob had sent a request to you on January 10th and wanted to know approximately when you'll be able to have your free consultation with Mr. Davis. Okay, Brandy? I did not forget you there. Now, I was talking about rule number 1. And rule number 1, that's the one you need to get an attorney. And it's somebody like Mr. Davis. But what I would recommend is you contact 3 attorneys and determine which one suits your needs. There are 2 very important questions you ask attorneys. Question 1 is, you ask them, are they licensed in juvenile law, family law, and dependency law, and have gotten children back from CPS? If the answer is yes, next question. Has the attorney, when the case is closed, ever sued CPS, the state or federal court, and won money back from them? If the answer is yes, you got yourself a pit bull of attorney. So a lot of attorneys shy away from suing, but you can do that real easily out there. I will. You can tell her too, Brandy, about her father. I say prayers to her every day I talk to her. She has been on for over a week, but she still helps me produce my shows, so I really appreciate her. So those are the questions. If the answer is yes to both questions, you got yourself a good attorney to see how much the retainer is and see if you have good chemistry. And right now, I'm offering you Vincent Davis. Now, you can be on my show as a guest or call in and you can speak to him for 15 minutes of a private consultation. Or you can pay $60 for 30 minutes of a consultation with Mr. Davis. And that's available to you also. And I know it's hard. Fighting these cases that you're in there. But the attorney is the mainstay. If you don't, the chances are they don't fight for you. They're also paid by CPS. They work for CPS. Okay, I'm still going over my rules. Rule number 2 is the notebook. Please organize all your paperwork in a notebook, a large one, at least 3 inches thick, 3-ring binder. Punch all the holes. Put your court documents in there. Put your certificates from completed parent classes. Put your certificate from program completions. Put a lot of information in there that will help you. There's a real important page that you need to produce. And you have to start off, and it involves some writing. Okay. Brandy says, thank you. Thank you very much, Brandy. I thank you all of you in this room. So I'm talking about rule number 2, where you have to organize it. And one of the most important documents is called a incident time log. What you do is you create a time log of incidents that happen, and that way you can document. Now, what I mean by incident is something either the social services has said or done, or the police has said or done, maybe the school administrators or whatever it is. You write down the date, the time, the people involved, the location. Okay, Brandy has another question here. See what it is. I save and document everything. That's great. The instant log is something that really benefits you. After the first line, the second line, you put a summary of what the incident was about. The third line, you put the outcome of the incident. If you don't have the outcome, wait till you do. Skip a line and then do your next incident. The oldest first, with the newest last. And that way you have it all done by date. You can look things up. You can use highlighters sometimes as something important, like maybe highlight in yellow. That a certain day, an instant is something you could use in court. It's very important you document everything because they will try to say things are not true and use everything against you. Now, rule number 3 is you say no to social workers. You do not open your door. You don't let anybody in your home. It's your home. If your family members come and go, they need to create maybe a certain knock or an open window because their broadcast is upstairs and in the bedroom. Now, Brandy further says, every child visit, including my therapy visits, are conversations with CPS. That's great. That's great, Brandy. Now, we're talking about rule number 3. It's where you say no to social workers. Don't let them in your home. Too many people have been killed instantly by opening the front door. Unless you know who's at the door, don't open it. Also, CPS has a bad habit of you give them permission, they want to enter your home, and then they want to see your room. They're looking for negligence or they're looking for physical. And so they're looking all the time. They're fishing. They're doing what's called investigating. So what you do, you say, no, you can't come in. I need my attorney present. By my constitutional rights, I'm entitled to a Now, Brandy also says every, whoops, I lost it. Every child visit, including my therapy visits or conversations with CPS. I agree. That's what the instant log's all about. Don't forget to put subject dividers to organize things and put lots of notebook paper, college rule notebook paper. That's all you have to do. Okay. Felicia now says, what did Felicia say? Okay, Felicia, who is cruel, that's your YouTube channel. And she's from Ventura County, California. I don't know what other methods of stacking up enough money to retain Attorney Davis. Well, you don't have to retain him. There are other attorneys out there that you can. It'd be nice if you could, because he is the best out there. But all you need to do, Cruel, is make your court-appointed attorney work. Tell her that you will fire her if she doesn't fight for your case. And you tell her that. Now, Brandy Lee further says, I'm sorry it's a little slow this morning. I have 3 files already. I make a file in a notebook for each person. That's great. That's great. Thank you for sharing that, Brandy. And now we see what Brandy also says. I also make CPS and give me all the records too. The doctor, dentist, the school. That's good. More people are notified, the more copies, the better off your case is. That's another good thing. You want to make sure you get all the medical records from the dentist and so forth from the school. CPS will try to hide them from you. So that's a good point, Brandy. You got to get that in there. Now, further, my rule number 3 is you don't talk to social workers. I told you. The only time is that they can have a warrant. And if they have a warrant, then you have to listen to what the warrant says. But you can always tell them you need your attorney present. They should give you a continuance to have your attorney present. That means they're extended time because you need more time. I'm not talking about the court-appointed attorneys. They're the worst ones to get. Now, Brandy says, I have 3 files already. I make a file and notebook for each person. That's great, Brandy. Brandy further says, I also make CPS give me all the records too on the checklist and school. It's so important because documents are sometimes lost. Now, I was talking about rule number 3, and if you meet them outside, tell them that you need to have your attorney present and set up another meeting. Do not meet at their office or in your home. Try to meet at Starbucks or McDonald's, some places public. That's a good idea there, Brandy. That's a real good idea. Now, there's another thing called medical trafficking, which is part of rule number 3. If you've let your children go, then they should be able to do family reunification. It's very rare that there's some type of brutal danger your children in. My children were taken when they weren't in danger. It was wrong what CPS did. It was terribly wrong. Now, we have about 4 minutes left. It's been really slow this morning, but I do appreciate the comments from Brandy and from Cruel, who's Felicia. I also want to thank, my computer's acting up again. I'm sorry. I'm trying to scroll up, and the scroll button won't let me scroll up there. I also want to thank who else besides those two? I guess that's all the people that have called in. There's been Cruel. Oh, Amanda. Can't forget Amanda. Lots from Cruel. And Brandy is the other person there. Okay, Brandy further says, I also made CPS give me all the records too, and my dentist in school. Yes, I saw that. So rule number 3 is very important because it also deals with trafficking. If you have to take your child to urgent care or the emergency room, be careful there's not a social worker there listening. Anything you say, they can't overhear and make assumptions. But I'm glad you take them to a hospital if they're that have a high fever or something. Also, if they have a high fever and okay. Brandy further says, I hope you have a great day, Bob. You and your team are awesome. Well, that's really sweet. So be careful of medical trafficking. Also, when you have a child, do not give your child to any caseworkers at the hospital urgent care when you're having your children or bringing a sick child. Rule 4 is to use the internet wisely to look up your case. It's important you have the right format. It should be city, state, then the letters CPS, and then what you're trying to find in CPS, like the guide or whatnot. And rule 5 is get all your documents copied and put in an envelope. Your marriage certificate, your birth certificate, your driver's license, your children's birth certificate, Social Security, the grade reports, the shot records. You want to do all that. You want to do all that. So with that being said, I covered my 5 rules, and I want to thank you all for joining my room this morning. I'll be on again tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. God bless you all, and keep fighting for your kids. After I leave, there'll be a brief message from Vincent Davis. God bless you, and remember, don't give up on your kids. This is Bob Pace signing off.
Feeling lost in the maze of CPS? Desperate to get your child back? You're not alone. Countless parents face the heart-wrenching reality of family separation. The legal system can be overwhelming, but there's hope.
Now, here's the key. Okay, that's how you win a 6-month hearing.
Thank you.
If you do all of those things, you're going to blow your social worker's mind, you're going to blow your attorney's mind, and you're going to blow away the judge.
With attorney Vincent W. Davis, a dedicated legal expert with 39 years of experience, committed to helping families like yours. Join his weekly live Q&A on Zoom, where you can ask your burning questions about CPS cases. Get the knowledge and strategies you need to fight for your child's return.
Alrighty, good evening everyone. This is a question and answer session for school, SKOOL, and this is the CPS school.
Are you ready to take control of your family's future? Join our school community for free to access weekly live Q&A sessions, or participate as a one-time guest. Don't let fear hold you back. Take the first step towards reuniting your family. Join us now.